Okay, test time. Let's come up here and go online and put this thing into simulation mode. And man, I'm hoping for a nice and smooth execution. Let's log in, compiling, and whoo, that looks good. I like our interface here. We've got a lot of variables to work with and look at. And let's go ahead and put this thing into run mode. So there we go, we're running, and so far nothing is happening, and that's actually exactly what should be happening. So wow, we can see a lot of variables over here. That's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and check our mode. So let's see where we're at. We're in mode 0. Well, I'm going to try to put us into hand mode. So I'm going to double click on the hand push button, and I'm going to send that in and take that back out, and our mode didn't change. So right away we've already got a bug, and it looks like a really basic. And here's the problem. I'm looking for the hand push button, but I'm still referring to the off push button. So let's go ahead and get this thing stopped and then take it offline. And instead of looking at the off push button every time, why don't we update our references? That's the danger of copy and paste. Sometimes you don't change everything. And this is going to be the alarm reset push button. Okay, so I've got all those references updated. Let's go back into run mode one more time. We're running and we're in mode 0. So now let's try that hand push button. Good. So now we're in mode 1 and our pump is running. And let's take a look at our flow alarm. Our flow alarm is false, and it just became true. That is exactly what we wanted to see, because we were running, but we did not ever close our flow switch. So perfect. Let's go ahead and change some things. So I'm going to try and test my alarm reset button. Let's go ahead and send that value in. And my alarm reset, but after 10 seconds it should come right back on. And come on now, any second now, let me see that beautiful flow alarm. And I'm not getting it. My pump is running, but my flow alarm is not energizing. So what happened? Let's come up here and check our timer. And let's see what status our timer is in. So I'm going to drag this down a little bit, and I'm looking for a flow delay. There we go. And what's happening inside of our flow delay? We didn't reset that with the alarm reset, and that's what killed us. So let's check and see how that happened. We've got our flow delay down here starting around rung 45, and what are we doing in there? We're saying that if we have the pump and not the flow switch and not the alarm reset, then let's go ahead and do this. So I reset the alarm, but for whatever reason, it looks like I didn't actually redo that timer. I didn't actually reset that. So somehow the scan didn't update that. I'm going to try to just add a little bit of logic into there and see if I can force that timer to reset more aggressively. So let's stop and come offline. And actually right down here is where I'm looking at that button being pushed. So I'm going to go ahead and update this and say flow underscore to get my flow delay. And where is that? Right here. .in colon equals 0. So I want to make sure to just force that timer into a de-energized position. And then I need to update my timer one more time. So I'll just type flow underscore delay. And let's see how that works. So that might do it. We're back online and we're back into run mode. Well, I'm not sure what I clicked. So let's try and go back online and go back into run mode. And let's see if I can do that again. So double click on that and control F7. Good. Double click it again to release the button. And now my pump is running and I should have a flow alarm here momentarily. There it is. And now let's try that alarm reset one more time and see if we can actually reset the timer. So we've got rid of our flow alarm And in 10 seconds, if I've got this thing programmed right, it should pop back up. Hey, there's my flow alarm again. Beautiful. See, now that's what needed to happen. That was what we were looking for all along. Let's go ahead now and close our flow switch. And then we're going to reset our alarm one more time. Gotcha. So why didn't my flow alarm disappear? I'm guessing that might have had something to do with my flow switch. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and double check that. I'm going to release my flow switch, and then let's try my alarm reset push button one more time. And nope, that's not getting rid of it either. Strange. So I think I know what happened. Maybe somehow I have to actually manually release my one-shots. I hope that's not the case, but let's try this. Let's go ahead and try to put ourselves into off mode. Now we're off, and let's try to go back into hand mode. So I'm going to toggle that button, and it's not going back. So it looks like I actually have to reset my rising triggers as well. That's kind of annoying in this environment. So, okay, let's do that. If I'm pushing the off button, then we want to go ahead and set that. Otherwise, we're going to set it to off. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all, let's stop this process and let's come offline. So here's how I think I can fix that. I need to update my one-shot outside of the if, because right now I'm only updating that if the button's pushed. But if the button isn't pushed anymore, then I'm not updating that, so I'm never seeing the release. So let's go ahead and do the same for this. I'm going to pull these one-shots out of there. There we go. I've got two more. Let's yank that. Whoops, it looks like I missed my semicolon. I'd rather just get it all at once. And drop that there. And last but not least, let's get my alarm reset. And let's put that on the outside as well. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just try getting rid of my ifs altogether. So let's go ahead and just set this thing all the time based on the actual button. And maybe that's what's going to make the difference here. Let's try just getting rid of all of this stuff. And I've got two more. There we go. And last one. So now we're just going to try to update these all the time based on the status of the button. Okay, so let's test this thing now. Let's log in. Let's get ourselves back into run mode. And let's start by pressing our hand button. So we're going to send that in as true. And we're going to look for an alarm. And if we can reset that alarm twice, I'd say we have our buttons working correctly. So there's our first flow alarm. Let's go ahead and hit our alarm reset push button. And after 10 seconds, we should have another flow alarm pop up. And there it is. All right, the moment of truth. Yes, it looks like we can make that flow alarm go away. Now let's try testing our flow switch. So our flow switch is now closed, and we should not get another flow alarm at the end of 10 seconds. So we're waiting, we're watching, and no, I'm not seeing a flow alarm. Good. And then if I open this flow switch back up, there we go. We get a flow alarm, but we're getting that flow alarm a little too fast, which tells me that our timer's count is not being reset. We want to give it a fresh 10 seconds every time. So let's come back offline, and let's find where we're actually managing this thing. So here's where we're looking at our flow delay. And that's what's energizing this. But I'm going to go ahead and see our else is right here. And right here, I think I just need to update my timer one more time. So let's go ahead and pull in our flow delay right there with a semicolon. And once that updates, I think that's going to go ahead and reset our timer. Let's test that theory. We're going to put ourselves into run mode once more. And let's see, where is my button? I think I need to scroll up for that. So here's my hand button. We're now in hand mode. And then I'm going to close my flow switch, knowing that most of my 10 seconds would have already expired. And let's come up here and look at my 10 seconds. So good, it looks like it reset my 10 seconds. So if I open that, it starts back to 0, 4, 5, 6, and then if I toggle my flow switch again, it starts back over. Good, now I've got all of that working. Let's toggle my off push button, and sure enough, my pump is offline now, and my mode is back to 0. That's exactly what we wanted to see. If I go into auto mode, I'm in mode 2 now, but my pump is not running. Nothing is happening with my alarm or anything like that. Good. And if I go into hand, then everything comes online, pump goes true, and I start counting down for an alarm. And that is exactly what I want to happen. My alarm comes on, but actually my pump is still running. So I've still got one last bug in here. I need to make sure when I have that alarm that my pump is not running anymore. So once more, let's go offline. Man, this was like the worst program ever, wasn't it? So let's find our pump, and let's go ahead and make an explicit call, which is going to disable that pump based on a flow alarm. So I'm just going to say if flow underscore alarm, then, and that's going to be pump colon equals 0 semicolon end if. So just like that, I'm pretty sure I solved that problem. And we're back online, we're back to running. Let's go ahead and start the system by putting it into hand mode. And we're just going to wait for an alarm to see that pump go off. And once we see that happen, I'd say that we've got this program working. There we go, we've got the flow alarm is true, so the pump went off. And then I'll go ahead and toggle that alarm reset. And as soon as I did, my flow alarm disappeared, but my pump came back on, and I can close the flow switch to make sure it stays on. Well, stick a fork in this one because this program is at long last done. And I will make this available for download. It's sloppy code, but it's working. And this is also my first program of the day, so you can imagine I'm not fully awake yet. I did not have breakfast. So that's it for this one. We'll call it a wrap on this paradigm. We'll come back in the next lecture and we'll pick up on a new one. See you then.